Time now for the Left of Lansing Monday Musing for June 30th of 2025. We begin this July 4th week with the MAGA Republican Party on the verge of passing a bill that will kill thousands of working-class Americans. The MAGA murder budget will decimate the working class, while MAGA Republicans and dear leader Trump are so giddy to extend his 2017 tax cuts and create new tax cuts for the wealthy and the corporate class, also known as the oligarchy. Those who'll make out great will be elitists such as Jeff Bezos, who spent millions on his wedding in Venice this past weekend, Michigan's own billionaire and Republican Party boss, Betsy DeVos, and Elon Musk, of course, after he gutted so many departments that working-class Americans rely on. On top of that, the MAGA murder budget is wiping away a slew of investments in clean and renewable energy jobs, known as tomorrow's energy, while funneling more money towards the dying coal and oil industry, the energy of yesterday. And that'll mean more pollutants filling the air that we breathe. And simultaneously, the MAGA murder budget is looking at cutting the funding for the National Cancer Institute by nearly half. So, MAGA Republicans are pushing to continue polluting the air that we breathe to appease their oil and gas donors, while at the same time cutting research funding into the cancer that many working-class Americans will develop due to breathing that polluted air. I know. I'm told almost every year by our national media how that's the fiscally responsible party, the moderate party, the Christian party. Included in the MAGA murder budget is a major cut, nearly $1 trillion cut to Medicaid, which again, millions of working-class Americans rely on. A Michigan Health Department report says that some 550,000 Michiganders will lose their Medicaid thanks to the MAGA murder budget and then force the closures to rural hospitals throughout the state, many of which are the prime employer in those areas like where I live. And many of us call this bill the MAGA murder bill because if passed, it will lead to the deaths of 16,000 people per year, according to Harvard researchers. Other research indicates that number could be higher. Also, MAGA Republicans are making sure these massive Medicaid cuts don't happen until after next year's elections, meaning they know damn well how unpopular the MAGA murder budget really is. This is all being pushed by MAGA Republicans so rich people can receive more handouts. This is sick, and it's unreal that it's happening in today's time. Which leads me to this final point. Coming up on this week's show, I will break down Michigan Democratic Senator Elissa Slotkin's speech that she gave last week, in which she gave a so-called blueprint on how Democrats can beat MAGA Republicans. And I will be fair, as always, because I think that she gave some good points. But some of the senator's other points ring hollow for me and many other progressives, considering some of her votes this year, as I will point out here later on this week. Now, she and fellow Michigan Democratic Senator Gary Peters are against the MAGA murder budget, which is good. However, there's more that's got to be done than just opposing the MAGA murder budget. You've got to do more to counter MAGA politics in general. Over the weekend, Slotkin said on one of those Sunday shows that while she may not agree with the New York Democratic candidate for mayor in New York City, Zoran Mamdani, on everything, Slotkin said that he rightly did point out how affordability is killing the working class. Now, I would love to know where Slotkin disagrees with Mamdani economically, because that's where the major fight will happen, and actually is happening right now for the future of the Democratic Party. So-called centrists like Elissa Slotkin believe that if you play nice with Republicans, then maybe you can control them, like they're a wild animal. Well, MAGA Republicans are a wild animal, and if you aren't willing to fight against that wild animal, if you aren't willing to stick up for the working class and reverse some of these awful Republican policies, then voters tune out. I've heard the argument this week that due to Trump's extremism, which is being granted to him, by the way, by a MAGA Supreme Court, that this could lead to a major pendulum swing towards Democrats electing, let's say, a real progressives like AOC for president. Well, maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing. You see, Trump didn't happen in a vacuum, everyone. I mean, this has been happening my entire life. For my entire life, the pendulum has always been swinging towards the right, towards the elite, towards the corporate donor base, towards the untouchables of our society. And the working class is fed up. Maybe a major swing back towards the working class is just what we need here in this country. My worry, though, is do Democratic Party leaders and their high-paid consultants get it? or do they believe in still kowtowing to the same rich donors? If so, those Democrats, along with all of the MAGA Republicans who will fight to block that much-needed pendulum swing, will end up getting destroyed at the ballot box in 2026. leftoflansing@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. Subscribe to the podcast and also subscribe to Left of Lansing on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, the Gram, and Facebook. Take the battle to them.